It's Friday, August 29th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. Fighting the wildfire and weighing the woods ban in Nova Scotia. Maritime companies shipping to U.S. customers face a pricey problem.
Showers expected, but by the end of the long weekend, we'll still be looking for rain.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good Friday evening. It sparked a backlash and a few public displays of opposition when implemented. Now heading into the long weekend, Nova Scotia feels the fire threat has eased enough in some parts of the province to lift the woods ban. It took effect at 4 o'clock this afternoon, but only in 7 of the province's 18 counties. CTV late anchor Bruce Frisco joins us in the news center. And Bruce, you were listening to what Premier Tim Houston had to say in his news conference. What came of it?
Well, a bit of a surprise on this Friday afternoon, Todd. As we might have noted here, there's only been one significant rain since the province-wide ban was declared 18 days ago. That was August the 5th. And of course, that thing came with a $25,000 fine, and a number of those fines have been issued since then. Now, though, as you say, venturing into the woods has been deemed okay in part of the province. We're going to start with a look at the big picture here, a literal map. Green is good. They represent counties where the ban has been lifted. The red marks those where it's still in place. As you can see, it's primarily the western and half the southern counties where the risk has fallen. You need a list. Here it is. Restrictions now lifted in Cape Breton, Richmond, Victoria, Inverness, Guysborough, Antigonish, and Halifax counties. However, they remain in effect everywhere else. That's Pictou, Colchester, Cumberland, Hants, Lunenburg, Kings, Annapolis, Queens, Shelburne, Digby, and Yarmouth counties. Those are still in effect until October 15th, which is regarded the end of the wildfire season or until conditions improve enough for them to be lifted. Again, hasn't been a big change in the weather around here, but officials say the overall conditions are much different now than they were a few weeks ago. And it turns out there are a lot of factors that go into determining a policy like a woods ban, and the clock has also been helpful here.
Now we're almost to September, and given the rain that we received in these areas in the past little while, and given the amount of time that's left historically in this province and doing some forecasting out, there's probably not enough time left for them to get back to where they were. So that's why we've made this recommendation.
I hope this offers a little bit of bright news to some Nova Scotians as they head into the long weekend for many people.
As is often the case, some municipalities are following the province's lead already. We've heard HRM is now removing municipal barriers around local parks and green spaces, but they note that that could take a number of days. They're urging people still to be extremely cautious in the woods. And one other vitally important distinction to make here, we've been talking about the woods ban. The province-wide burn ban remains in effect. No open fires, no campfires, no burning brush. That, too, continues to carry a $25,000 fine, Todd.
That is a very good distinction. Thank you, Bruce, in the newsroom. Of course, Bruce will be back with your late news at 11:30. And this has been a trying day in the fight against the Long Lake wildfire. More people learned they've lost everything they own, and the weather seemed to be taunting firefighters. CTV's Hafsa Arif reports from Annapolis County.
In Bridgetown today, the sky was heavy. Smoke and fog lingered in the air. Later, a dark cloud rolled in, sparking hope for rain. But only a few drops fell before the haze returned. For families here, the pictures arriving on their phones are far more ominous.
So many emotions in a person when they lose everything.
Michael Pastor lost his home and shop, once filled with his artwork and decades worth of collectibles, now reduced to ashes.
Heartbroken, mind raging. I'm lost for words when it comes to how I feel.
He says he tried to get insurance, but because he heated with a wood stove, he couldn't. For Jamie Borden, the loss came as a shock.
That was after dinner. We opened up the pictures and we were expecting to see, as they said, like some damage to one building. And it actually turned out to be like a total loss of 3 buildings.
One was his family's home. Another, their workshop filled with tools and supplies.
Your heart sinks, instant sense of loss, and then like reality kind of sets in.
Yesterday, CTV News spoke with James Milner. Today, he shared pictures of what's left of his property. He told CTV he wasn't surprised, just heartbroken. For Dion and Cindy Schofield, there's still a home standing, but it carries expensive damages.
It was an older house with just like wood shingles, and they cover it with vinyl, and the vinyl's all melted off.
Like many of their neighbors, the Schofields don't have insurance, and for those around them, it's even worse. Entire homes flattened by the flames with no coverage to rebuild.
We have a place and they don't, and that's part of it.
The closest feeling to it is losing someone, like the death of someone.
Todd, the losses stretch beyond property lines. School starts next week, which means children will face new bus routes, new classrooms, and a life without the neighborhoods they once knew. Todd?
That's Hafsa Arif in Annapolis County for us this evening. There's a shot of downtown Charlottetown right now where it is currently 22 degrees. Let's bring in Kaylin Mitchell. Kaylin, that is tough to watch, those poor folks in the Annapolis County area. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this all week. Is there anything at all in the forecast that looks like it might offer some sort of assistance?
Yeah, I mean, we have some showers in the forecast, right? Now, it's all about whether or not those showers are going to end up in the area, because they are going to be scattered in their coverage around southwestern areas of Nova Scotia. And what we really need with those showers is for some of them to intensify into some downpours. And that's the hope, but there's a chance, but it's not guaranteed to be a great soaking in the area as we move over the next 24 hours. Temperatures currently are around the high teens and the low 20s. As we take a look at the winds for today, they're mostly out of the south. They remain that way for this evening. They're being sustained between 10 and 20 kilometers per hour. We're getting a few gusts between 20 and 40. One thing that southerly wind did do today is it moved the smoke in a different direction. It moved it more directly over the Bay of Fundy. So when we check in on the air quality alerts, instead of having air quality statements out for Lunenburg County, Halifax County, Kings County, and Hants County, instead they were issued along the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick, with the air quality warning, of course, remaining in effect for Annapolis County. Now, speaking of the showers, as we take a look at things on radar, the most widespread showers at this time are mostly around northern and western areas of New Brunswick, and they have at times been accompanied by a few thunderstorms. But as we look down towards the southwest of Nova Scotia, we can start to see some light returns coming in off the Atlantic. In that southerly wind, the overall level of humidity is increasing. That's good news when it comes to wildfire conditions. You want as much moisture in the air, even if it's not pouring down rain. And there's the possibility that there might be a few showers or a little bit of patchy drizzle that moves in off the Atlantic as we move through tonight into the start of the day for tomorrow. I will have more on the long weekend forecast, though, coming up later on.
All right, we'll take a look at that in about 15 minutes. Thank you. Something has to change. It's been said in hushed tones for a couple of years now, but the comments are getting louder in Moncton, where downtown business owners once expressed patience and understanding with homelessness, drug use, and crime. There is now growing frustration. CTV's Derek Haggett reports.
Over the past few years, downtown business owner Matt Sims has installed high-definition security cameras and put up fencing around his coffee shop.
It is consistently a cost to any business that wants to operate down here, and it's just getting worse.
A few weeks ago, an employee of his who parked his vehicle right outside had it torched.
So there was a member of the unhoused community came around and lit the car on fire. I was amazed at how fast it went up.
Sims is sympathetic to the plight of the homeless and says it guts him to see people struggling on the streets. It's not easy for Joanne Phillips to walk around downtown Moncton. She sees a lot of open drug use and crime, but she also sees lost souls just trying to get by.
They are gentle, they're kind, they're just trying to get by with their situation. It hurts your heart to see that there's so many that don't have a place to live.
Guests visiting from out of town recently cut their stay short at one of her rental properties because they didn't feel safe.
One of the individuals lives in New York City. He was here with his teenage daughters and his wife. They had intended to stay for 10 days. They left after 2.
She's calling on municipal, provincial, and federal governments to provide more services for those who need it. Sims thinks he has an answer.
There are answers to this. You look in the Scandinavian countries, they virtually eliminated homelessness. You look in South Korea, the same thing. They have to take a systemic approach to it. You know, unfortunately in Moncton, we haven't done that yet.
There are currently 244 beds available at Moncton's 5 shelters. There are also roughly 4,700 public housing units across the province, with plans for more. So, does Phillips feel safe walking in her own neighborhood? She says it's hit and miss. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
Halifax Water is close to implementing mandatory conservation measures for users on the Lake Major water supply. As CTV's Jonathan McGuinness tells us, if it does happen, it'll be the second summer in a row for restrictions.
A quick scan of the shoreline shows where the water level in Lake Major should be. When full, the water is at 19.5 meters or at the top of the dam.
The rain we had last weekend, we had a significant amount of rain, which was a blessing, but we need more of that, and we also need our customers to actually work with us to conserve as much water as possible.
That's because the current level is 18.66 meters. Mandatory conservation measures kick in at 18.5.
Within the next week, we are likely going to be in the warning phase for Lake Major, which will mean mandatory restrictions for our customers.
Each resident uses 215 liters of water a day, and up until now, the utility had been asking people to voluntarily cut back on the amount they use, like they did last year. The response from customers, however, hasn't been the same.
We did see a bit of a downtick in usage last year, but this year I don't know what the predominant reason would be, whether it was just because it's so hot and everything else, but we didn't see the drop in usage that we did last year.
The other water supply at Pockwalk serves 277,000 people. Levels there are fine. Lake Major serves 123,000 customers. But Jeff Myrick says it's not how much water is in the lake that's the problem.
It's actually a design issue with the lake in terms of plenty of water in the lake, but currently because of drought conditions, the intake as where it's designed is more vulnerable.
Not something that's going to be looked at, but for now, residents are on the verge of mandatory water restrictions for the second summer in a row. The current volunteer measures include cutting back on showers, not watering lawns or gardens, and not washing your car. And Todd, if those mandatory conservation measures are put in place, Jeff Myrick says the penalty for anyone not following those rules could range from a warning to a fine to having your water turned off altogether. Todd.
All right, Jonathan McGuinness for us in Halifax. Thank you, John. We're going to make this a web poll tonight. Simple question. Are you making an effort to conserve water? Our options are yes or no. We'd like to hear from you at ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Canada's economy contracted in the second quarter by 1.6%, largely related to U.S. tariffs, we're told. Here's yet another hit for Canadian business. Starting today, the U.S. is eliminating the de minimis exemption. CTV's Nick Moore explains what that is and why it's so potentially problematic for maritime producers.
Up until today, the de minimis exemption has allowed packages worth $800 or less to ship to the United States without duties. But now, full duties will be collected on all global packages entering the U.S.
I do have quite a few loyal U.S. customers.
Selena Bill is owner of the Maritime Box, a Fredericton-based business which offers a selection of local products delivered by mail.
I have actually 15 boxes that are supposed to be going to the U.S. with a subscription.
Those packages are being held back for now, and there's been a pause on any new U.S. orders being taken.
So I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to absorb those costs or if I should just send them because they are the first ones.
Business owners are now bracing for the full impact of the exemption being taken away now that products are more expensive.
It's coming at a time where you don't necessarily have a lot of resilience in the small business sector.
A survey out last week from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business says 1 in 5 small Canadian businesses won't last more than 6 months if there's no change in the trade war. For Selena Bill, she's hoping to get her U.S. orders out soon.
You know, they love Canada. They want to support Canada, especially Atlantic Canada. Oh, it's heartbreaking because, you know, you want to be able to treat your customers, you know, the same as everybody else. But because of these extra costs, we have to make some hard decisions.
Nick Moore, CTV News, Fredericton.
And a reminder, for more on this, you can look at our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Plenty of reporting there. The Dalhousie University strike continues as students return to campus. A rally was held on the picket line to press the issue today. Supporters joined faculty members who have been on the line since being locked out by administration more than a week ago. Offers of arbitration have been rejected. The sides remain far apart on wages. Students are supposed to return to class on Tuesday.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
A scuba diver leading an expedition with a tourist off Nova Scotia recently encountered a local who normally keeps a low profile. They got up close to a great white shark. CTV's Vanessa Wright has the tale.
The video is stunning. While diving at Fox Point Beach near Hubbards, Nova Scotia, an American tourist and his scuba guide came face to face with a great white shark.
And she came right up to us, just I could reach out and touch her. It was like a game of chicken. And then she veered away and disappeared into the murk and went back and then came right back again a second time.
Instead of swimming to the surface, the pair kneeled down in the water, which Peterson says is the best thing to do, as most shark incidents occur at the surface. Studying its every move, they kept calm and watched as the shark, believed to be a female juvenile, swam right past them.
My heart fell in my stomach, actually, because it was just such a beautiful thing to see. You know, just seeing like that toothy grin and black eyes coming out of the murk at us was something that I could see when I closed my eyes at night later that day, yeah.
Shark researcher Chris Harvey Clark calls the interaction historical.
Wednesday, August 26th was definitely a record breaker. You know, we usually see, in recent years, we've been seeing 2 or 3 shark interactions with divers over a summer would be about average. Very few in 2024 for whatever reason. But this year we've had 3 so far and counting.
He suspects this shark may have just been curious, but says that's never a reason to underestimate the species.
If you encounter one, get out of the water. It does not, there's no upside for you. If the shark decides that it's going to give you a test bite, you know, that's a serious thing.
Despite experiencing what most would call a terrifying encounter, Peterson feels like he's won the lottery.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience to see something like that. And both me and my customer plan now to get matching great white tattoos.
To mark a moment they'll never forget. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
Well, that's one way to, I guess, celebrate that. We'll take a break now. Still ahead, Kaylin has details of our long weekend forecast. But next, trying to be upbeat about downtown. Despite recent improvements and additions, has Sydney's downtown core seen more business? We'll look at that next. When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown. But in Sydney, depending who you ask, new additions and upgrades haven't translated into a more vibrant city core. Our Ryan McDonald looked into it.
It's been a year since the new Nova Scotia Community College campus on the Sydney waterfront opened, but not everyone has seen a noticeable increase in traffic from having those students and staff downtown.
A little bit, not as much as I really thought we would.
The owner of this restaurant on George Street says while business is generally pretty good, he'd like to see more NSCC students stop by for lunch.
We may do something a little more aggressive this year, maybe offer some more specials specifically targeting the students, but it did not generate enough that I thought it would.
The NSCC students have brought a fantastic energy to downtown Sydney this past year.
The head of the Sydney Downtown Development Association says not only has the new campus made the waterfront more attractive, but the fact Sydney's main drag has gotten a facelift has also given the downtown an aesthetic boost at the very least.
We're also coming up on marking a year to have the reconstruction completed for Charlotte Street, so it's just been a very, very nice year with a beautiful street and lots of people walking around on it.
This was a significant construction project in the community which created hundreds of trades jobs.
While those construction jobs are now in the past, the MLA for the downtown area says he has heard from businesses that have seen an increase in traffic since all the improvements were made.
This was the biggest one moving the college, so of course we're always monitoring that, but all responses since the move of NSCC have been very positive.
As for how many students might be here in Sydney for year 2 of operations here at the new Sydney Waterfront campus, a spokesperson for the NSCC says that those enrollment numbers should be available sometime in October. Meanwhile, at Cape Breton University, about 10 kilometers away from the downtown, international student enrollment has dropped quite a bit in recent years thanks to federal rules that cap international study permits.
I know we might be down in those numbers, but I don't think it'll impact them coming to see us in downtown Sydney.
This year's NSCC Sydney students arrive on Tuesday for orientation, with the first day of classes set for Wednesday. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
Thank you, Ryan. For most Maritimers, the long weekend is underway. Will the weather deliver a winner? Kaylin has the details after this. South Shore, Nova Scotia, that is Crescent Beach at Lockport, where it's currently 18 degrees, some clouds hanging overhead.
Yes.
Pretty barren beach there right now.
Oh, what do we got? One person out there taking a stroll?
There we go.
Now, cloud cover off of a low pressure system is moving up and off the eastern seaboard of the United States. That is one of 2 lows that we're kind of getting in between here over the next 24 to 36 hours here in the Maritimes.
Hey, look, I know it's been a few days since we spoke about Aaron, and that's thankfully moved off to sea, but this is a milestone day. 20 years today, Hurricane Katrina leveled New Orleans and much of southern Louisiana.
Yeah, catastrophic storm system in many respects, a worst case scenario for the area. Like many of these hurricanes, these tropical storms, one of the most impactful things with it was the water issues, right?
And I had been down there to cover some hurricane-related stories. They just weren't ready. And they pointed out all the points where the weaknesses were, and they were all exposed by Katrina, and it was a terrible lesson to have to learn.
Yeah, I don't know how you could be ready in that area for what essentially was a Category 5 hurricane, almost right up until around the landfall time.
They had lots of issues. Okay, today looks like a very different kind of day, of course, and heat out west again.
Let's take a look at weather conditions across the country. So they're highlighted in through that scarlet color. There's all the heat warnings in effect, and we can see we've got lots of 30s there, and central and northern areas of Alberta and Saskatchewan and even Manitoba now. Thompson, Manitoba sitting at 31 degrees. Warmth reaching up into the north. Whitehorse 24. Yellowknife sitting at 22. As we move off towards the east, temperatures are more moderate, to say the least. Southern Ontario into southern areas of Quebec. A lot of temperatures showing up around the mid to high teens. 20 degrees at Montreal, and same thing goes for Fredericton. 18 in Halifax right now. 21 at Charlottetown, and 15 degrees for St. John's. On our forecast timeline, we've already got an area of some showers and a few thunderstorms that's worked its way into northern and western areas of New Brunswick. That's from the low pressure system in Quebec. The increase in cloudiness for Nova Scotia from the coastal low pressure system that is expected to bring in some rain near and after midnight into eastern parts of that province, including parts of Guysborough County and Cape Breton. Maybe a bit gets in Antigonish County, and a chance of some showers in Pictou County. But that round of rain moves through fairly quickly, moves off towards the north, so it mostly winds down as we go through Saturday morning. For the remainder of Saturday around the Maritimes, it's going to be cloudy with sunny breaks, scattered showers with the risk of thunderstorms. Now, the wet weather is expected to be most persistent in western areas of New Brunswick for tomorrow. That's also the part of the region that'll have the highest risk of thunderstorms on Saturday. Winds in the forecast for tomorrow, because of those 2 low pressure systems, are a little bit variable in direction. But for Saturday afternoon, mostly I would say the south and southwest, and sustained in a lot of cases 15 to 30 kilometers per hour. There may be some occasional gusts that get up between 30 and 50. Low temperatures for tonight around the Maritimes will be falling into a range of around 10 to 16 degrees. And high temperatures in the forecast for tomorrow in the north of New Brunswick. In the northwest, a little bit cooler, between around around 16 and 19 in the northeast, between 20 and 23. Central and southern areas, New Brunswick tomorrow, high temperatures mostly high teens into low 20s. For Prince Edward Island, high temperatures 20 to 24 degrees. In eastern areas of Nova Scotia, high temperatures as well, between 20 and 24 for Saturday. Northern and central parts of the province with high temperatures in the low 20s. And in the southwest of Nova Scotia, high temperatures for tomorrow. 19 degrees around Yarmouth and Barrington, otherwise mostly between 20 and 23. Taking a look at our 7-day outlook for New Brunswick coming up on Sunday. Isolated showers, and basically it's a low chance of showers around eastern areas of New Brunswick, otherwise a mix of sun and cloud. Sunshine, warmer temperatures for Monday, similar conditions expected on Tuesday, then a mix of sun and cloud Wednesday and Thursday of next week with a chance of showers on Friday. For Nova Scotia in the forecast on Sunday, there's a low chance of showers around northern and eastern parts of the province, including the North Shore and Cape Breton. It's mostly sunny on Monday. Temperatures will be warmer, then a mix of sun and cloud for Tuesday and Wednesday. Chance of showers after that, Thursday and Friday. And for Prince Edward Island, coming up on Sunday, about a 30 or 40% chance of a shower, the high temperature near 20 degrees. Mostly sunny on Monday with a high near 24, up to 26 on Tuesday. 22 on Wednesday with a mix of sun and cloud, mid-20s on Thursday of next week, and a chance of showers on Friday, Todd.
All right, we'll see you at the end of the show. Coming up next, we'll talk about a new crop of movies debuting in theaters this long weekend, then more entertainment on the scene. Stay with us.
With Crash and Sarah Betts.
Hey, school starts Monday, and so does the winning.
Beat the bank and win a VIP experience at Harvest Music Festival with Portugal the Man all after 7.
Happy long weekend.
Welcome back. Friday night, the long weekend is here. Maybe a movie is in the plans. I know just the person to ask for a sure bet. CTV film critic Richard Krause joins us on this Friday night. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Todd. Thanks for having me.
We've got some fun ones this weekend. Let's get right into it, Richard. We'll begin with the star-studded Caught Stealing. Here's a look.
It's a last call. Drink them if you got them.
Let's go back to your place so you can take advantage of my poor judgment.
I depend on your poor judgment.
I want to know if I can take this seriously.
What do you need to take us seriously?
The lesson here seems to be don't agree to watch your neighbor's cat.
Yeah, that's entirely the lesson here, except that the cat is fantastic in this movie. On my radio show coming up the next couple of weeks, I interviewed the cat trainer, and then I saw the movie. I'm like, the cat's the star of the movie. Anyway. Austin Butler is really the star of the movie here. He plays a bartender. It's the late 90s in New York City. He agrees to look after his neighbor's cat, and it opens the door to all kinds of mayhem as he is pulled into the New York soft underbelly of their underworld. And this is a movie that has, you know, a crime thriller kind of premise, and it's a romp. It's a bit of fun, and it's directed by Darren Aronofsky, who made movies like The Wrestler and Requiem for a Dream and The Whale. Not movies you associate with the word fun, particularly, but here he manages to pull off you know, a real crowd pleaser, but in the most Aronofsky-esque of ways, in that it's still about a guy who was deeply conflicted, he's deeply troubled, he's got a troubled past, a troubled present, and probably a troubled future as well. So I like this a lot, though, because it is a bit of fun. Austin Butler, that guy's a movie star. You saw him as Elvis. You've seen him in the Dune movies. He is going to be someone to keep your eye on. So Caught Stealing in theaters now, and I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Okay, well, that's good. Our next pick is The Roses, A Happy Marriage Comes Undone. Here we go.
How's married life?
The kids are amazing.
We're going to the beach!
All right, don't drown. Ivy, it's a monster success. Would you do a photo shoot for New York Magazine?
Nude?
I don't think so.
Well, we'll do it anyway.
Again, a great cast. Not the War of the Roses that many will remember from the 80s, but what, it's Kissing Cousin, perhaps?
Yeah, it feels a little different, although it's based in and around the same sort of idea, and is both based on the same novel. in The War of the Roses with Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, it was mean-spirited and it was quite nasty by times. And this movie has a patina of that, but really it's the rough edges have been smoothed off of the story a little bit. It's still the story of a couple. Their fortunes are reversed when the movie starts. She's not very successful. He is. That gets flip-flopped around, and it puts a wedge in their relationship. But the thing that recommends this movie is Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman, who both cut through this material like a hot knife through butter. It is a pleasure to listen to them do this dialogue. So while it doesn't have quite the oomph I wanted it to, I still gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. And it's called The Roses, and it's in theaters now.
Yeah, I like the two of them. Okay, I sense a theme here. We've got another film about marriage. This one's probably better, more appropriately titled Splitsville.
I'm unfaithful. I've been unfaithful.
Just one time. 2. Please don't make me count 3.
Carrie!
There we go. Maybe that's the best response. Don't necessarily associate divorce with funny.
Nope, but I like this movie a lot because it is hilarious. It is the story of a couple, like we just saw. She blindsides him with wanting a divorce. He literally runs out of the car, as you just saw, and runs all the way to his best friend's house. They seem to have, his best friend seems to have a picture-perfect relationship. So he thinks, well, they'll have advice for me. They'll be able to guide me through this, maybe even figure out how to get my wife back. But of course, their relationship isn't picture perfect, and they have lots of problems as well. But this movie is very funny. It's a look, and sometimes a kind of serious look at modern relationships. But it gets more and more chaotic as it goes on, relationship-wise, action-wise. This made me laugh out loud in the theater more than almost any movie this year, other than maybe the Naked Gun film. So 3.5 out of 5 stars. Dakota Johnson's great in it. It's called Splitsville, and it's in theaters now.
We like chaos at the cinema.
Yes.
That's good. All right.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Peter Dinklage is in this next one. He's perhaps best known for Game of Thrones. He's been in all kinds of things. Elf, of course. This is, I love the name, The Toxic Avenger.
Monster. You're not a monster. Show him your good heart. Hey, buddy, I'm your dad.
What the? All right. Again, big names in this. What'd you think of this one?
Yeah, like The Roses, this is a remake of a film, or maybe a reimagining of a film from the 1980s. If you love grindhouse cinema, if you like B-movies, midnight movies, you probably know The Toxic Avenger, the trauma film from 1984 about a janitor who falls into a vat of toxic goo and becomes a superhero with a mop that he uses as a weapon. This movie changes the circumstance in and around the main character. Here, Peter Dinklage plays a janitor, but it's all about his son. He's trying to do the best for his son when he is diagnosed with a terminal illness. He goes to his higher-ups at his job and says, "Can you help me with insurance or whatever?" And they laugh at him. Soon he falls into the pit of toxic goo and becomes the Toxic Avenger. And what I liked about this movie is that it is every bit as vulgar and gratuitous and gory and grotesque as the first movie. If you're a fan of B movies, I think you'll get a kick out of this because they do all of the special effects probably in much the same way as they would have done them in 1984. Okay. So it looks like a B movie, and there's nothing wrong with that in my book.
Listen, I got to tell you, I mean, 1984, there aren't many movies I didn't see at that year. I don't remember this one.
It was one that it took a little while to come out. It came out in '84, and then it eventually did the Midnight Madness circuit, and you know and on VHS. It was big on VHS.
Okay, all right. Well, it must be around the house somewhere. That is full time for this Friday. Richard Krause, thanks a lot. We're heading into the fall. You've got TIFF. You've got all kinds of festivals. We know you'll be really busy, so we appreciate your time as always.
Talk to you soon. Okay. Thanks.
We'll take a break. Much more entertainment. The Scene on the other side. In health headlines tonight, the concerning impacts about food packaging and the changes you can make to reduce microplastics. CTV's Stephanie Seacos has that and more in the Friday edition of The
New research shows plastic packaging and containers can put tiny plastic pieces into your food, especially when heated, reused, or stored for long periods. The research was done by the Food Packaging Forum, a nonprofit focused on providing science-based information about food packaging and its impact on human health. It analyzed more than 100 studies and found more than 96% detected microplastics that transferred from packaging into food. The worst offenders were items like plastic bottles and single-use containers. Experts recommend swapping out plastic for glass or stainless steel containers in order to minimize exposure. A Northern Ontario hospital has launched a pilot program designed to reduce crowding in its emergency department. Patients with non-urgent conditions will be able to wait at home. The virtual waiting room initiative will allow patients to register online and join a virtual queue, receiving text updates until they are told to come to the hospital.
And we don't want low acuity patients to have to wait a large amount of time in our wait rooms because they can be very crowded. And crowding, of course, as we know from the pandemic, can lead to a greater risk for infection.
The virtual queue, which has been in development for roughly 2 years, is limited to 10 patients per day. More than 750,000 pressure washers linked to dozens of injuries are being recalled in Canada and the United States. This involves the Ryobi branded brushless electric pressure washers. In the U.S., there have been 135 reports of the product's capacitor overheating and even exploding in some cases. More than 30 people have also reported injuries. 16,000 units were sold in Canada. If you own one, health officials are urging you to stop using it immediately and go to the company's website to request a free repair kit. With health and medical news, I'm Stephanie Seacos for The Lifeline.
On the scene tonight, the Halifax Fringe Festival. It's one of the largest and longest running theatre and art festivals in Canada. It's celebrating its 35th anniversary, and they're pulling out all the stops. And as CTV's Jesse Thomas reports, anything goes.
It's bold, it's quirky, there's no censorship and no juries, and for 35 years it's been lighting up stages around Halifax. It's the Halifax Fringe Festival, of course.
Anyone can apply, and usually spots are chosen by lottery. So you could be, a really famous Canadian actor who's doing a show one night, and then, you have a 19-year-old who has never written a play before the next night.
Since 1990, the festival has showcased a variety of acts from theater to comedy to circus, improv, burlesque, magic, music, and more. The Halifax-based Hello City Improv team is here, and they're guaranteed to make you laugh.
And this year it is like show up, have fun, sit down. There'll be a lot of things you probably recognize from shows like Whose Line Is It Anyway, or just going out for things like theater sports. And it's very like feel good, very funny, very fast paced.
This will probably be our 7th year doing Fringe. So we've done a number of different forms, and Fringe is great because it's just a collaboration of a ton of different types of artists. There's people who are theater, dancers, improvisers like us, and it's just, it's so nice to get everybody under that same umbrella.
Vancouver-based fight and movement company Affair of Honor are performing. It's a homecoming for Jackie Hanlon, who hails from Dartmouth.
To come home, honestly, it's like more nerve-wracking than it's ever been, because it's like you've been doing this thing for 10 years, right? So it's going to be good.
Pressure. The pressure's on.
The
always when it's home.
Coming home is something else for sure.
Affair of Honor are fresh off a stint at the Fundy Fringe Festival in New Brunswick and have a string of shows here at Halifax Fringe.
We're trying to emulate it like a crazy hour of doom scrolling on your phone, just the whiplash of what technology can be when you're on the internet, and how that has kind of affected us as human beings.
The Fringe Festival runs until September 7th. For a list of shows, visit their website. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
On the markets, the Dow Jones closed the trading week down 92 points. The Canadian economy has taken a hit amid the onslaught of tariffs coming from the U.S., as we mentioned earlier in the show. Now, some analysts say the U.S. trade war has now pushed Canada much closer to a recession. Details now from B&M Bloomberg's Lindsay Biscaya.
Statistics Canada says the Canadian economy contracted 1.6% in the second quarter of this year. It is the worst decline for the country since the COVID-19 pandemic, primarily due to U.S. tariffs, which slashed exports by 7.5%. Exports in key sectors like energy and automotive dropped significantly, widening the trade deficit. And here's a look at how the trading day ended today. The Canadian dollar up 11 cents to 72.82 cents U.S. West Texas Intermediate is down almost $1 to 64.01. Western Canadian Select is up 48 cents to 51.66. And the TSX jumped 129 points today to 28,564. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Kayla Mitchell, one more look at the long weekend.
Yeah, thank you, Todd. So it's a cloudier evening out here now as we're starting to have those two low pressure systems get a little bit closer to us. Let's take a look at a viewer picture for tonight. Despite the increasing cloudiness during the day, there were some beautiful sunrises this morning. And this is one from Craig May, sent in from Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. I want to thank Craig very much for taking the time to share this fantastic picture with us. Lunenburg for tomorrow, there is a chance of a shower throughout the day, and the high temperature will be closer to 20 degrees. Day planner for tomorrow around the Maritime region. We start off mostly cloudy. There'll be some rain exiting Cape Breton early Saturday morning, and some more rain and showers moving into western areas of New Brunswick. Moving into and through Saturday afternoon, it's cloudy with sunny breaks. There'll be scattered showers around the Maritime. So with those showers, a risk of some thunderstorms. The highest chance of thunderstorms for tomorrow will be in the province of New Brunswick, and then a lower chance in southwestern areas of Nova Scotia. High temperatures tomorrow, a little bit cooler, mostly around the high teens as well as the low 20s. Todd.
All right, Kalen, thank you very much. Have a good long weekend.
Thank you.
Finally tonight, some rarely seen early images of the Beatles on display now in London. This photo exhibit features early Beatles photographs taken by Paul McCartney. Pictures show the band when they were just at the cusp of global stardom, 1963, 64. Each photograph is signed by McCartney and remastered from the original negatives and contact sheets, which were thought to have been lost for over half a century until McCartney rediscovered them during, yes, the COVID pandemic. He was doing some cleanup. The free exhibit called Rearview Mirror runs in London until the 4th of October. And as we leave you this week, we want to acknowledge that several colleagues are leaving us this month. They've been instrumental in the production of, well, everything we do here at CTV Atlantic and have for a very long time, including Tina that you see there. She is in the control room right now. They worked in the control room, the studio, the edit suite, in the field, everywhere. And they've been with us for a very long time. And we wish them well. They will be missed. And many of them heading off to retirement. Big smiles on their faces. It's a bittersweet day here. Here are their names and the names of everyone else who brings you your newscast. Bruce is back at 11:30. I'm Todd Battis. I hope to see you Tuesday. Have a great long weekend.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast.